It all started with a fortune cookie. One cookie was passed to each student in an English class. The fortune inside the cookie would serve as the inspiration for a poem. However, this is not where the inspiration would end. 7 different fine arts classes would receive some version of this fortune over the course of 7 months. However, each time a class received part of the project, it was different. It had morphed along the way because in each phase it was given a new interpretation and a new life. Tonight you will watch the progression of how a simple fortune from an ordinary fortune cookie inspired students to create art, challenged them to artistically interpret a new medium and produce something unique. And tonight it reaches its conclusion in an evening of art unlike any other. First, we journey to Mr. Epley's AP Language and Composition class and Mrs. Gentry's AP Literature and Composition class. The students in each class were given a fortune cookie and instructed to write a poem based on their fortune. The top 3 poems from each class were selected, and then a committee of English teachers voted on the poem to move forward. That poem was written by senior Jessica Rambo, and she will present it for you now.
The tragic deaths of the ones we love the most. For me, a grandmother, and for her, a mother, and talking about how it destroyed us. We were talking gravely, like we were still at the funeral, holding back our tears and sobs, and hiding the sadness in our scars. But yet we were releasing the worst pain. At the end, when we were through exposing yet not really showing anything, I looked to the sky and saw 2 shooting stars, one for me and one for her. And we knew we were all finally at peace.
The poem was then passed to the 2D Design, Pre-B IB Art 2, and the AP IB Art classes. The students read the poem to get inspiration for their art pieces.
I was inspired by the fact that this poem was talking about 2 people, not necessarily being alike, but sharing the same emotions about their loved ones. And I really wanted the person to visualize the 2 people being the same person, metaphorically. And this is how I came up with this piece.
This is my piece of artwork for the Shooting Star poem. And I took just a couple of lines in it and made this piece, and the lines I used were holding back tears and sobs, hiding sadness and fears, yet releasing the worst pain. And I went about this in kind of a symbolic way because our heart is holds all of our emotions, and then the hand kind of grasping it is kind of making it have this look like it's bursting almost.
So what inspired me to draw this was, well, I mean, it can represent myself in a way and other people that are trapped and can't express themselves. Because the painting is basically meaning that she's lost with herself and she can't find a way out, but she still knows her place. And what inspired me to do that is that there's a lot of heart and emotion put towards it, and I don't know, I thought it would be kind of unique and different, and I used makeup to do.
I made this piece because when I first read the poem, it's the first time that came into mind, and it just felt right.
The art classes then voted on which 4 pieces best represented the poem and sent them over to Miss Epperson and the Music Appreciation class. In Music Appreciation, the students selected a picture and used it as the inspiration to compose an original piece of music on their MacBooks using GarageBand.
I created my song because I looked at the heart, and it kind of inspired me because the heart makes a beat. So I tried to make some sounds go together, and I also had a heartbeat at the end of my song, and and I think it sounded pretty well altogether.
3 student compositions were selected to move forward to the theater classes. Mr. Jackson's Theater 3 and Theater 4 classes listened to each piece of music and wrote a short monologue based on the song of their choice.
Okay, so in this song you kind of hear a little bit creepy ballet, well, what made me think of ballet or like a dancer dancing. But anyway, from that I kind of thought of it as a dream. So in my monologue I read about this girl who is, you don't know it's a dream until the end, but that's what made me think of writing it as that type of thing.
One monologue was selected to be the inspiration for the vocal music department. Senior Blake Meyer wrote that monologue, and she will perform that piece for you now.
My heart is racing faster and faster. I can't get away. My eyes move back and forth. He's holding me back. I see a loophole. Finally, I break away. I run as fast as I can through the woods, dodging the branches and rocks in my way, scraping me as I pass. Then I get to the edge of the cliff. He's close. I jump, free falling to the rocks below. Crash. My body crumbles at impact. I'm in a daze. I see a fuzzy light. Am I dead? I awake in a panic, drenched in sweat. It was only a dreadful dream.
The monologue was passed on to Mr. Shirley in the vocal music department. The mixed choir selected the song Castle on a Cloud from Les Miserables as the piece that best represented their interpretation of the monologue.
How she's falling off a cliff and she's having a really bad dream, but in the song, the little girl's having a dream about her mother or some mother and her child. So it's really affectionate.
In the poem, it talks about escape. It talks about all these bad thoughts and how the world is cruel. And in the poem, or in the song, it talks about the good things in a dream. And I think they're both compared because they're both trying to escape from the world of reality.
The mixed choir will perform that piece for you now. The orchestra watched the choir perform, and from that performance, chose a musical selection that they felt encompassed the theme of the song, showing once again how art can inspire every individual in a unique way.
We ended up picking Lord of the Rings because from what we heard of the choir, we thought it was very dreamy, very whimsical, kind of far off, peaceful kind of land, something that you wouldn't be able to see in reality, something very different but has a bit of a magical, adventurous quality to it. and we thought Lord of the Rings of all of them fit it.
We chose Lord of the Rings because whenever we listened to the mixed choir, we heard very kind of gloomy, but almost like a dreaminess to it. And whenever we played through all of the songs we thought would fit, Lord of the Rings kind of fit it perfectly, and so it kind of had the same effect.
The orchestra will perform their piece for you now. You have now watched just how the process unfolded throughout the school year. This unique game of telephone played using the arts all started from that one fortune. What do you think the fortune was? Do you agree with the interpretations and how it all came together? How would you have interpreted these pieces of art? Until now, the fortune has been kept a secret from everyone except those 2 English classes. Before we reveal the fortune that started it all, we will show you exactly how each piece of art tracked from department to department.
Fire at will!
it is finally time to reveal the fortune. We would like to thank all of the teachers and students involved in the process, the North Kansas City High School administration for their help and encouragement, and most of all, our audience for continuing to support the arts and education.